you have your phones, please put them on vibrate. Shalom Akim, Wakim, Happy Shabbat. Alright, we are here at the Light of Zion, Vero Beach. Alright, we are starting a new venture up here, working on building up Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie, the whole Treasure Coast. Alright. So the portion we're going through is Deuteronomy 21 and 10 through 25 and 19. Alright. Well, let's first open up with Colossians 3 and 17.
This is the book of Colossians, verse 3 and 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to the power and the Father by him.
All right, so everything we do it in the name of Mashiach Yahushua. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 21 and 10. Let's get into it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemy,
right,
and the Lord thy God has delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captive a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
Right, so Israel's going to war, right? The Most High has delivered the enemies into their hand. What does that mean? We conquered them, right? So you just conquered these people, and you see a woman, and she's beautiful to you, all right? You take her as wife. Now, question, is this a woman of another nation?
God.
Are you sure? Yeah? So this is a woman of another nation that you can have as your wife. Do you have a precept? No precept. Anybody have a precept? No precept. Alright? Would that make sense? All of a sudden now the Most High is giving you permission to marry a woman of another nation? No, this is not talking about a heathen woman. Alright? Deuteronomy 7:3. Alright? This is why it's so important. Don't forget the things that you know already. Alright? This is how you not get confounded. Alright?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou...
well, let's say with who? Start at verse 1. Start at verse 1. Them. Who's them? Right? Verse 1.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Gershites, the Amorites,
right,
and the Canaanites, and the
Perizzites,
and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Right. So you make no covenant with them and...
nor show mercy unto them.
Right. So you can't make covenants with these heathen nations, nor show them mercy. All right? Read on. Marriage is a covenant, is it not? Right. Read on.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Right.
Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons.
Right.
Nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons.
Right. So, the Most High is saying this here, chapter 7, right? In chapter 22, he could not be saying, you can go marry other nations, right? No, this is civil war. You understand? This is Israel fighting against Israel. You know what I mean? Judah and Benjamin. All right, we know that was a big war during the time of Saul and David. You understand? The two families going to war. All right, we know there was infightings many times within Israel. All right, and you're gonna see that. As a matter of fact, keep reading. Read on where we at. Verse 4.
For they will turn away thy son from following me, and they may serve other gods. That they may serve other gods.
All right.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
Right.
But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire.
Read on.
For thou art a holy people.
A what?
A holy people.
Holy. We know holy means separate. We are a separate people. Do not forget these little things, right? The Most High wants Israel to be separate. Read on.
For thou art a holy people unto thy Lord God, thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Right. So now we know that this woman here in what was it, chapter 21, right? It's not a heathen. Right? Now it will be clearer to you as we read on. Right? Let's go back to chapter 21. Right? Read verse 11 again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 11. And seest among the captive a beautiful woman, and hast desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house.
Right.
And she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
Par her nails.
Par her nails. And she shall put a remnant of her captivity. A raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. Right.
So here now you have this question.
So this is talking about Israelites on Israelites.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. It could not be talking about an Israelite and an Edomite, an Israelite and a Perizzite, or Agagite, or whatever. Because we just read, the Most High said, have no covenant with them, nor show them mercy. Right? But here you have this woman, after you just destroyed her place, right? You just killed her father and her mother and all her family, everything she's known, right? You're giving her a full month to do what? To mourn. Right? To grieve the loss of her mother and her father. Right? Read on.
And she shall put a remnant of her captivity off her, and she shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and mother a full month.
Right.
And after that thou shalt go in unto her.
So after that time period, right, you allow her to mourn. Then you may go in unto her and what?
And be her husband.
And be her husband. Because that's what marriage is. Right? What starts a marriage? Right? The sex starts a marriage. When a man goes into a woman, that's what begins a marriage. You understand? And that's how you see things with a spiritual eye. Right? Give me Romans 7 and 12, I believe. Right? Because the law is spiritual. You understand? To see things with a spiritual eye, you understand? Is it 12 or 14?
The law is holy.
Give me 14. Right.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual. But I am carnal, sold under sin.
Right. So Paul is saying here, we know that the law is spiritual. When the scriptures talk about, or anytime you talk about having a spiritual eye or something, that means seeing things through these commandments. Right? Is this right or wrong according to the commandments? When you judge a situation out there on the street, right? Is it right or wrong according to the commandments? You understand? For instance, right? here in this society, boyfriend and girlfriend is prevalent, right? They don't consider themselves married. You understand? But they are what? They're having sex. You understand? So now you with your spiritual eye, just because this world doesn't deem them as married, you know you are not to talk to that woman. Right? Because what happens?
Considered fornication.
We know that.
Yeah, kind.
We know that, and we also know the judgment. Right? We're going to get to that later on. You understand? But just because people in the world don't know that, what happens? You go mess with that woman, and that man will still get jealous over that situation and come and kill you. Mm-hmm. You understand? The scripture says there's nothing you can give a man to turn away his wrath after you mess with his woman. You understand? That's spiritual. They don't know the commandments. They don't know. They're just going off of feelings. But the Most High is giving you the commandments so you can be wise in the situation. All right? That's how you use wisdom that the law brings out to you. Because you already know what's going to happen. You understand? Because the Most High told you. All right? Right. Then shall you go in unto her and be her husband. Read on.
And she shall be thy wife.
Right. Verse 14.
And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her.
Right? You don't like her. Right? Read on.
Then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her for money. At all for money. Sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her. Because thou hast humbled her.
Right. So now you can't sell her. All right. This is the only time I've seen where you have permission to let a woman go after you humble her. Right. And this is the only situation. You understand? Verse 15.
Is this before? As far as a divorce goes, this does not deal with divorce. That's just let her go because you're not delighted.
Technically, it is a divorce.
It is.
All right, because
you just let her go.
Let her go.
Cut.
But you couldn't sell her. You can't sell her to somebody else.
Cut.
You understand?
So then, technically, she is free from you.
Right.
And now she's able to marry. Is that also considered fornication though?
Well, it wouldn't be.
If she's a partner.
If it would have been fornication, it would have stayed.
Cut.
We're gonna get in because it deals. This portion deals with divorce and the fornication. You understand? All right. Verse 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 15. If a man have two wives.
How many?
Two wives. One beloved and the other hated. And they have borne him children.
Right.
Both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be her that was hated. Right. So right now a man has two wives. Right? How many wives in the society are you allowed to have? One. Right? How many girlfriends in the society are you allowed to have? As many as you want, right? Why so many men say they're not going to get married, right? They're just going to have all these girls, all right? Why? Because women are giving themselves to men, all right? Women are giving themselves to men, not knowing that there's more that comes to being married, right? There's a protection. For a woman, there's a protection that comes along with being married to a husband, having a husband. You understand? You have protection. There's rights, right? That man now has to take care of you just like your father took care of you, right? That's the role. But here in this society, right, women are just out and about. Well, number one, they're not being taught that, right? So they're out and about and what? Giving themselves to every man that seduces them, right? That spits game or has Jordans on, right? Or a Gucci belt. You understand what I'm saying? And then they're jumping from man to man, and then all of a sudden they still want to get married. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, they're going to want marriage and kids. And all of them do have kids, but then what? That breeds, you have multiple children with multiple men. You understand? That's why we have to understand what exactly is marriage. When you lay down with a man, that's your man. That's your husband. All right? So you ought to be very careful of what man you choose to lay down with. That decision is not made by the woman. You understand? That decision is made by the father. And man, we understand why that decision should be made, because we can see through the game. You understand? We know when somebody's gassing up a woman, right? And when he tells the truth. You understand? We need to teach our daughters, say, listen, if a man comes to you, right, and he claims he has feelings for you and all this, he needs to come see your father. You understand? This is a family ordeal. This is a big decision. One of the biggest decisions a woman is going to make in her life, right? Now a man, when you lay down with a woman, that is your wife. Think about the brother in the world that lay down with many women, right? But what? He's just their boyfriend. You understand? But then they go out and lay with other men. You see what I'm saying? What's that? That's a system of adultery. You understand? And right here, the Most High is putting provision. Why? Because that's something natural. You know what I'm saying? Only this time and age, it's a big deal for a man to have more than one wife. It's only this time because we are under the so-called white man, Esau. You understand? We are still under the Romans and the Greeks. You know, history tells you the Romans and the Greeks were homosexuals. They had sex for pleasure with young boys and men. You understand? Well, how else could they repopulate? They know they had a secret of to reprocreate. You understand? They're the only nation on earth that have this monogamy. The only one. Go look it up. No other nation on this earth had this law. All right? And that's why these people have so many problems as far as sexual morality and things of that nature. All right? Read that again. Start from top 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and the other hated,
right, and
they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated.
Right, so a man has two wives. He loves one, he hates the other one. Right? He didn't leave the other one. You understand? You have a woman and you can't stand her, you got to keep her. Because marriage is forever. You understand? You got to keep her and you got to take care of her and provide for her and do benevolence. We're going to get into that later on. Right? So, but the one you hate has the firstborn son. Read on.
Then it shall be, when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he has, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated.
Right.
Which is indeed the firstborn.
Right. So he can't pick favorites. You understand? He has to honor that firstborn even though, you know, his mother's a dragon. You understand? And why is that? Why is that? What do you think would happen? Right? In a situation where the father doesn't do that. And let's say something happens to the father, he passes away. All right? And everything goes to the son of the beloved. What happens to that wife? Huh? No. Who's gonna? They're gonna be to take care of her? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a reason why you give it to the son. Because what? The son is still gonna take care of your household. You understand what I'm saying? In this society, everything is given to your wife. Right? Everything is given to your wife. Would you be able to trust that wife to take care of the one that you hated? You understand? No. That's why you leave it to your son, because you know the man it now becomes his house. You understand? He's gonna take care of the household. You understand? He'll take care of the wives of his father, if need be. All right? Read on.
Chapter 21, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn,
right,
by giving him a double portion of all that he has.
Right. So now he has to now give that son, the firstborn, a double portion because you hated his mother. Right. So that should let you know also we need to have mercy on each other. You understand? Be careful when you say who you hate. You know what I mean? And how you deal with each other. Especially now, we're trying to come back to the commandments, right? We all need to be long-suffering to each other, right? Right, but because you hated his mother, you got to give him a double portion. Read on.
For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
Right.
If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them. Then shall the father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city,
right,
and unto the gate of his place.
Right. So man and woman has their son, right? Disobedient, rebellious, won't listen to anything that they tell him, right? So now you bring that son to the elders of the gates, right? It's almost like you bring him to court. You bring him downtown. You understand? Read on.
And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this is our son, is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard.
Right.
And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones.
Shall do what?
Shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear.
Right. So, again, now is this talking about a little child? No, it's not talking about a little child. All right? There's no little child that's a drunkard. You understand? A drunkard and a glutton, just greedy. Well, you have greedy children, but they're children. You understand? Now, how would a child know this? Right? You'd have to teach them. You understand what I'm saying? As a parent, the law was given, right? Give me Exodus. Right? Give me Exodus 20 and 12. You understand?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right.
Thou shalt not kill.
Okay. Right? So honor your mother and your father, so your days may be long. Right? So is that talking to the child or talking to the parent? It's written for the child. Can your child read right now?
It's not written for them, but
You could say it's for both.
Once they can read, right?
Okay.
It's almost like, can your child's supposed to be circumcised the 8th day. Can your child, the 8-year-old baby, circumcise himself?
So these are instructions.
No, he cannot. Right? That's why the scriptures say, train up your child in the way that he should go. You understand what I'm saying? A matter of fact, give me Proverbs 29 and 17. Right? Because we are not to let our children grow up to be this way. You understand? To grow up and just be rebellious and be stubborn, just do whatever they want to do. You understand? You got it?
Yep.
Read.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 17. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest.
Right.
He shall give delight unto thy soul.
Right. See, so you should correct your son when he makes mistakes. You understand? From he's a itty bitty baby, you correct him. You understand? The scripture says a child left alone will bring his mother to shame. Right? If you don't give your child any correction in this society, you spank your child, you go to jail, man. Right? You have CPS, then CPS is gonna come, want to take them away, and you know what happens when children are in custody of CPS. All right? You hear about all the molestation, right? All the child abuse that goes on in those programs. This is a wicked kingdom, man. Everything is backwards. Everything is backwards, man. The laws of the Most High don't reign in this land, right? Read on. Now let's go back. Deuteronomy.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse. You want me to read 21 again, or just keep going?
Just keep going.
Okay. Chapter 21, verse 22. And if a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree.
Right.
But thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged, is accused of God.
Is accursed?
Is accursed,
sorry, right,
of God. That thy land be not defiled, which thy Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance.
Right. So if a man commit a crime, commit a sin, and is punishable by hanging, right, he cannot stay up there all night. You have to take him down. All right? You should read on. Verse 20, chapter 22.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 1. Thou shalt not see the brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them.
Right. So now you see your brother's ox, right, or his sheep going astray, wandering off the property, right? And now you act like you don't see it. All right? You act like you don't see it. Or you know.
Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother.
Right, so you got to go now and deliver that ox to him, man. Right? You and your brother, you dwell together, right? Watch over each other's things, man. There's many ways we can exercise this principle, right? On our job site. You know what I mean? You got a brother that's cool, you know, you and the brother agree, you understand? Let's say he make a mistake on some paperwork or something, right? And you catch it. You understand? Man, let him know.
Yeah, of course.
Let him know. Or like, okay, like I'm in construction, right? I do construction work. If I see somebody, you know, brother, right? And he make a mistake, I will correct the mistake. You understand? And then let him know, say, hey man, you gotta watch this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go sit there, I'm not gonna leave it so now somebody else come to see it and now it's a whole big thing. Right? Because some people, they like to, oh look, I gotta fix this, and I gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll say, oh well, I gotta keep
point it out, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, going behind him to fix this. See, don't be like that with your brother. You know what I mean? A lot of these principles, man, we don't have oxes and donkeys and sheep today, but it's a principle that we can draw from these scriptures. You understand? On how we dwell together. Read on.
And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee until thy brother seeks after it, and thou shalt restore it to him again. Right.
So, you know, he's not close by to you. He's not near you. He's away. Right? You just hold it down for him. You understand? Until he come back, he asking for it. Yeah, I got it right here. I took good care of it for you.
In Esau society, it's finders keepers.
Finders keepers. Losers weepers. All right? It's a little wicked kingdom, man. You understand?
You learned this from a young kid.
Right. You know? Because that's Esau's mentality, man. Esau's mentality, he find a new piece of land, he want to stick his flag in his mind. The moon is mine. You understand? Why would you want these laws to be done away with? You know, in church, you know, they talk about the laws done away with. Man, these are righteous things, man. These are things that will save our community, man, save our people. All right? Why would you want to do away with this? Where's the evil in this? All right? Verse 3.
In like manner shalt thou do with his ass.
Uh-huh.
And so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers, which he has lost. And thou hast found, and thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself.
Right. Hold on a second. All right. Read on.
Thou shalt not see thy brother's donkey or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again.
Right. So for instance, you know, I'm driving down the street, all right, and I see my brother yucking out on the side of the road. How can I act like I didn't see him, man? All right. Especially if we brothers in this faith. You understand? And we go out to camp. We go out to camp together. We break bread together. All right. We share amongst one each other. All right. Even if Yakin and I are in disagreement, right? We almost throwing blows. Man, if I see him on the side of the road, man, I need to pull over and help him best that I can. You understand? That's brotherhood. That law is not done away with.
Of course.
You understand? Read on.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Read again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Read on.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Right. So normally we focusing on the beginning of that scripture, the woman wearing that pertaining to a man. Right? But what has been going on this week, man? Or these past couple weeks in the media? I'm not even a social media person like that, but I see it. It's all over YouTube, all over Instagram, right? Malik Yoba.
Oh,
y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the undercover guy.
Right? New York Undercover. I remember watching that show as a kid, man.
Yeah.
And him and the Hispanic brother, I used to think, like, man, you used to watch it every Saturday night. You know what I mean? And all this time, right? He's
undercover.
He's undercover, right? Like, you know, it's so mind-boggling. Because when you think about the things, right, that is already shortening, women already outnumber men, right? Women already outnumber men, right? And I always talk about black men, Hispanic men, Native Indian men being put into prison, right? That population of available men goes down, right? Them being homosexuals, that number goes down even more, right? Them being transformers, Decepticons. If you understand, cause they will flag this video. You understand? They will flag this video, right? These Decepticons, all these men being Decepticons, the number even goes down even more. You got closet homosexuals, right? And then you have men that like those Decepticons. Now you add that into the mix.
Like a young buck.
Young buck. You understand? Come on.
Don't forget the civil hatred that we have against each other.
Oh, absolutely. You have men that just simply should not be a husband. All right? Men that just should not be a husband. That number dwindles. That's why the scripture says he will make a man more precious than gold. You understand? You got to understand these principles and understand the position that you're in. You understand? We pull Isaiah 4:1 all the time. All right? But that is a responsibility that we gonna need to get ready for. You understand? A lot of brothers in a rush to have many wives. You understand? That's gonna be a heavy responsibility when that time comes. A heavy duty, and I see that time creeping up more and more because the light bulb didn't even go off, man.
Mm-hmm.
You have a whole community of men that like men that dress like women. You know what I'm saying? That blew my mind when I was thinking about it. All right, let's read on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether thy be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting on top of the young or upon the eggs, shalt thou not take the dam with the young.
Right. So
dam with the young.
Dam.
Dam.
So you're on the road. You see a nest on the ground. You see, right, or in a bush, right, and you see the bird on there sitting on the eggs, right, or the young birds, right. Don't take the bird and the eggs, right. Don't take the mother and the eggs. Why? Yeah, right. You might want more eggs. You understand? You might want more, right? Read on. Verse 7.
But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayst prolong thy days.
Right. So you take the eggs, or you take the little chicks, right, so that it may be well with you, and it may prolong your days. How will it prolong your days? Huh? More food. You understand? It's not spooky. You know what I mean? There's no mysticism in this. If you take the bird, that bird, there's one less bird to make you eggs and make you chicks. You understand? Now, this is a bird that unless you happen to walk upon, you're not gonna walk upon it every day, right? So you can take the eggs if you want to, take the chicks if you want to be well with you. Let the bird go. Shoo the bird, right? And take the stuff, take the eggs, take the chicks, so they'll be well with it. Read on.
Verse 8. When thou buildest a new house, then you shall make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bringest not blood unto thine house, if any man falls from thence.
Right. So now you having a house being built. What don't you want? On every construction site, safety first. All right? When you're on a big job, every morning you have a safety meeting. All right? Everybody's reminded. Check your equipment. Right? Check your harnesses. Wear your helmet, your PPE. Right? Your gloves, your eyewear. Right? So what the scripture is saying, if you're building a house, right, on the roof, you got to have what? A ledge, a railing. You understand? Like a parapet. Right? So nobody can fall off the roof.
Not nowadays.
What's that?
We no roof without any of that.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't.
Yeah, OSHA won't allow it.
Right? OSHA wouldn't allow it.
You do have...
Like, let's say the brother's roofing.
Yeah.
They should have it then.
They need to be tied off.
Well, they have harness systems now that they're supposedly need to be using, which, you know, most of these companies don't.
I don't see it.
Because they'll say, what's the chance of OSHA showing up?
To the job, yeah.
Right? It's just a roofing, you know, this in the neighborhood. What's the chance of OSHA showing up? Right? But when you're on a big job, high rise, new construction, new building.
Oh yeah, you can't go on that job site without any
Right.
safety. Yeah.
You understand? So safety first. Anything you're doing. You understand? What's wrong with this law? Why should this law be done away with? Huh? OSHA got so many rules, so many laws. You got to take a class, 4-day class, get your card. You understand what I'm saying? Just basic stuff, man. Read on.
Verse 9. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyards with divers seeds, lest the fruit of thy seeds which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyards be defiled.
Right. So now, what's a vineyard? Is this talking about your garden in your backyard? Is this talking about your garden?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what's a vineyard?
Garden.
Is it just one grapevine?
No, it's many.
Where do wines come from?
Vineyards from,
Where do the grapes in the wine come from?
Vineyard.
A vineyard.
yeah.
You understand? A whole bottle of wine, right, from one specific grape, right? If it comes from that vineyard, that whole section has to be that one grape, right? Different grapes are what? Worth more, worth less? You understand? This is a law to put a stop to fraud. You understand? If I say, listen, I have a bushel of XYZ grapes. I don't know the names of grapes. Concord grape. I don't know. I just see that on Welch's. I don't know if it's a real grape. Right? Concord grape. Right? I got to know when I'm buying this thing that there's no, you know what I'm saying, other kind of grape in there. Now, these are the grapes that I'm getting. I'm paying an expensive amount of money for these grapes. You understand? Or this wine. It cannot be defiled with a subpar grape. All right, so this is dealing with a vineyard. If you have a vineyard, you are selling grapes. You are in business. This is a business practice, right? If you're selling herbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, hey, this is oregano, right? You can't have nothing else mixed in. You can't have chopped up cilantro mixed in with the oregano. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be oregano. All right?
Could that also mean, as far as like now where we have the crossbreeding
Yeah, man.
seeds,
All that stuff is
putting
like
two
the
different
regular
plants
vine.
together. What do they call it? The hybrids.
right.
Like I said, like the regular lime, like it's a lot more stuff, but just for instance, the regular lime, that's not even the original. Like they say the key lime is the original that you want to use.
Right.
The lime is like it's mixed with the key lime and something else to make it.
And the lemon to make it bigger.
The lemon.
And the
Yeah.
lime is like, it doesn't have as much benefits as the key lime does.
Right. Yeah, 'cause that key lime is strong, man.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That little thing got so much kick to it.
Light up a light.
Right? Yeah, you see it on lighting up light bulbs and stuff. One key lime. Right? All right, read on.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not plow with an ox and a donkey together.
All right. So now when we read these scriptures, man, we gotta get the metaphor first. All right? Envision an ox and a donkey. What are the differences between an ox and a donkey?
The strength,
Strength,
endurance.
endurance. Which one has more endurance?
I would say that the donkey would
The
have.
donkey has more endurance. Donkey is what they use to travel. They don't use ox to travel. They ride donkeys. Donkey carry a burden long ways.
Long ways.
Right? But what's an ox purpose?
It's plowing for
It's strong.
strong, pulling.
Right?
Yeah. Pushing it.
You have the plow in the ground.
Drag.
Right? That ox has to be strong enough to pull that plow that's in the earth and dig up the earth.
Brute force, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So what will happen if you have an ox and a donkey together on the same yoke? What would happen?
The weight load won't be shared right.
The weight won't be shared.
I mean,
The
obviously.
ox may pull.
One
It may
way.
pull one way, right? The donkey may not be able to pull it, right? So it may be pulling. It's not going to pull straight.
Yeah.
It's going to go one way or the other.
He'll be pulling the donkey and the plow.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Give me 2 Corinthians 6. All right? So we're going to show you how, man, the brothers in the New Testament understood these principles. All right? You got that? 6 and 14.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Be ye not unequally yoked together.
Be ye not what?
Be ye not unequally yoked together
Uh-huh.
with unbelievers.
With unbelievers, read on.
For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness?
Uh-huh.
And what communion has light with darkness?
Right? So what we see here, right? You have the example of the ox and the donkey, right? Where Paul is using that example with being yoked with unbelievers. Right? Because what's going to happen? They're going to steer you off. All right? A lot of times in this society, the unbeliever will steer you off. Why? Because that's the popular thing. You understand? Unless you know, you've made it known, right? When somebody, they know not to ask you to go to the Christmas party.
Got it.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you're going to look at them and say, hell no. Right? I'm offended that you even asked.
No, yeah.
You understand? People don't ask me about certain things, right? People at a job let me know, hey, this has pork. All right? Oh, there's something such going on, but it's not on Saturday. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta let it be known. You can't be weak, right? Because what? Whoever's stronger is gonna pull the one that's weaker.
Got it.
You understand? How many of us have invited people to Shabbat service, to camp, to a new moon? Hell, just watch this video.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And they say no. All right? But they invite you to every party. You understand? Every dinner that they have, that when you know what's going on. All right? And how many of us fall into that and go? That's what it's talking about. You understand? That's not just dealing with marriage. All right? Even though marriage is a big thing when it comes to being tied together with unbelievers. All right? But that's as far as brotherhood, who you choose to call a friend. You understand? You're going to call somebody your friend who will lead you into wickedness. You understand? Let's go back to the portion.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 12. Salakia, verse 11. Thou shalt not wear a garment of divers sorts, as of woolen and linen together.
Right, so you can't have a garment that's linen and wool together. All right? Is that saying you can't have a linen shirt and a wool jacket? No, it's not saying that. How many stupid people come to the camp and say, oh, but you're wearing a cotton shirt and denim jeans? You know what I'm saying? Or your shirt's cotton but your garment is linen.
Yeah, it's just like this, yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, no, that's not what it's talking about. It's not what it's talking about. Read on.
So there was a video from on the Israelite channel thing. It was a guy that said if you go to Israel, you can't have polyester mixed with your cotton because the polyester will melt if something happens on the plane.
Yeah.
It'll melt into your skin. So that's a.
Oh yeah. Listen, I used to iron all my clothes when I was in school, right? When I was in middle school, I used to iron, put creases because we had to wear uniform, and I'd be creased up, right? So I remember we had one day we were going on a field trip, and we didn't have to wear uniforms, right? We just had a special shirt. I had a pair of sweatpants, right? Washed it, took it out, but it was all wrinkly. So I said, man, I'm gonna iron this thing, right? And it was my favorite pair, Adidas. Sweatpants had the buttons, you could snap it just like that, right?
Oh, man.
Man, I put the iron on there, that thing got shiny and started folding up, melted onto my iron. I was like, oh, man. Right? Because, yeah, it'll melt. You know what I mean? Yeah, polyester, them fabrics, that'll melt, man, because it's damn near plastic. You know what I mean? You really don't want to wear plastic. You shouldn't be wearing, exactly. You know what I mean? All right, read on, verse 12.
Verse 12. Thou shalt make the fringes upon four corners of thy vestures, wherewith thou coverest thyself.
Right, so those are fringes that we wear, you know, on the four corners. All right, well, what's the reason for that?
Remember the commandments, keep the law.
Let's get that. Deuteronomy,
Numbers
15:38. All right, let's get that precept.
book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations.
That means forever, read on.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders of a ribbon, Salakia, borders a ribbon of blue.
Right.
And it shall be upon you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Most High, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart or your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring.
Right, so we understand that the purpose of fringes is to remind you of these commandments. All right? So you're not to go off of your own mind, off of your own thought. You understand? And to follow the commandments that the Most High gave you. All right, let's go back.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her, and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and brings up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Right, so now this man marries a woman, and the scripture says he brings an evil, what was that?
Okay.
An evil name upon her, right? He is now accusing her of what? Not being a virgin, right? In this society, you know, you are frowned upon if you're a virgin, right? Well, in the scriptures, it's referred to a woman's virtue. You understand? That is something, a woman's virginity is something that, you know, a father kills to protect. You understand? That's the name of your house. You know what I mean? That's the name of it. That shows that you have raised a righteous woman. That's why the scriptures say, who can find a virtuous woman? Because our price is far above rubies. You understand? That's how this name, because that righteous woman is gonna what? She get with a man. She's gonna have, that man's gonna have children by her, and she's gonna do what? Instruct those children. You understand? So that's an evil thing, man. That's an evil thing for women wear that proudly. They call it slut shaming. If you call a woman a slut, you call it slut shaming. You understand? So Maury was on one of the days in the break room, all right? And this was the woman's second time being there, right? Second time being on the show. And this man ain't the father, right? This man ain't the father. And the woman, and I said, no, another co-worker said something along the lines of, like, you know, women, you know, being sluts or whatever, right? And there was a woman in the office there, and she was like, oh, don't say that. And I'm like, what you mean don't say that? You know what I mean? What you mean don't say that? I said, that's the reason why, and you know, I don't talk much at work. You know what I mean? But he just caught me like that. I said, what you mean don't say that? Because that's the reason why she and many like her will continue on. Because nobody is saying that this is wrong. You know, you should, if you do something shameful, you should be ashamed of it. You understand? You don't do wickedness and say there's nothing wrong and make light of it. You know what I mean? And then there's no correction. You understand? How many brothers is she gonna ruin now? Ruin their name. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
Verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate.
Right, so the token of virginity is the sheet from the bed chamber, the marriage chamber. At the, you know, after the wedding ceremony, the wedding feast, right? What happens? You know, when a woman has intercourse for the first time, she bleeds, right? So then what? The husband will then take that to the father, and now the father wraps it up, puts it away for this very case. This is the protection of this woman, right? It's all in the woman's protection. This is not oppression. You understand? This is not oppression, women oppression. This is woman protection. You understand? Read on.
verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife,
Uh-huh.
and he has hated her.
And he hated her.
And he hated her. And lo, he has given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
Shall do what?
Chastise him.
Listen, man. If you accuse somebody of something, and you wrongfully accuse somebody of something, shouldn't you be punished? Isn't that righteousness? Huh? Do they do that in this society?
Nah.
Why is that? Because the law is done away with. Hallelujah. All right? Praise Jesus. The law is done away with. That's why, you know, there's so much wickedness in this place, man. So many people can do false accusations, right? And then what happens to when something real comes up? You understand? You know, read on.
Verse 19. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he has brought up an evil name upon the virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. Right. So I mean, that name is something important, man. You know, everything we do it in the name of Hamashiach, in his reputation. Reputation is very important. You understand? So just like in today's case, you know, the judge will go judgment for the father of the damsel, right? 20, how many shekels? 100 shekels of silver. You understand? So the man will have to pay up, and he has to be her husband. All right? He cannot mistreat her husband, his wife. You understand? He needs to protect and provide for her. All right? Read on. Verse 20. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel.
Right, so it's true, and there is no token of virginity, right? Read on.
Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house. And the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die. Because she has wrought folly in Israel. To play the whore in her father's house, so shalt thou put evil away from among you.
Right. So, you know, she brought folly in Israel. Israel looks simple. You know what I mean? Just like how we look today. All right? Other nations, they look at us and they see folly. They see a foolish nation. All right? They see black women with blonde hair. They see men that don't know how to use a belt. All right? It's, you know, these are the things that we need to root out of Israel. All right? These are the things we need to establish and make a change. We need to change our reputation. You understand? It needs to come to a point where, you know, you hear a prostitute being murdered or something. You know it's not an Israelite. You know it's not a black or Hispanic. That needs, but what's the first thought in somebody's mind? It would be. You know what I'm saying? What would be the first thought? Drug dealers, drug transaction going wrong, multiple shooting, drive-by, da-da-da-da. What are the first images that pop in your mind? It's because of our name, man. All right? Our reputation. That's what we're out here trying to do. Change the reputation. All right? Read on.
Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Right. So if a man found lying with a woman who is married to a husband, what is that called?
Adultery.
Adultery. How do we prove that?
Leviticus 20 verse 10.
Leviticus 20 verse 10. All right, let's get that. All right. Adultery. in this society, there's many that people don't know what adultery means. You understand? They practicing adultery, all right? Not knowing that they actually married, but they believe when they sign a piece of paper, oh, now God considers them married. You understand what I'm saying? You said everything's backward. You got it?
Yep.
Can't read that.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife.
The what?
With another man's wife.
Read on.
Even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife. The adulterer and the adulteress.
Both of them.
Shall surely be put to death.
Right. So that's the same thing we read here. You understand? Give me John 8. Right? Because Yahushua, the Pharisees try to trip Yahushua up on this law. Right? You're going to get that. John 8. You start at 1.
This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 1. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives. And early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
Right. So Yahushua is teaching the class. All right. And in come these Pharisees. You understand? With a woman so they claim, taken in adultery. Read on.
And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman has taken in adultery in a very act. In the very act. She was taken in adultery. Read on. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? Right.
So now they're saying, hey, listen, Moses says she should be stoned. All right? Who did Moses say should be stoned? Both of them. Who was there? Just the woman. You see what I'm saying? Listen, Christians do the same thing to you till this day. They will come to you with a false premise saying, well, the Old Testament say, you gotta stone your kids if they don't listen to you. Right? We just read, it ain't talking about no little child. You see what I'm saying? They will come to you with these false premises to try to trip you up. That's what these Pharisees are doing, right? Moses says she should be stoned. What do you say? Because what they hoping he would say? Something different than Moses. You understand? So now they can get charges on him, right, for blasphemy, and now have reason to put him to death. You understand? Read on.
Verse 6. This they said, tempting him.
Doing what?
Tempting him. That they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down, and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not.
Right. So he show up. He's saying, "Listen, we got this woman." Moses saying this, da da da. Man, he just stooped down, writing in the ground. All right, just ignoring him, doodling on the ground. Right. Read on.
So that they continue asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto him, unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her.
Right. So this is key why we need to study Hamashiach in his words and how he responded to people who were out to get him. Right? Because even on your job, you understand, people will come to you and ask you questions, but you have to be wise enough to answer them. You understand? You can lie to them if you want to, right? But you don't have to. If you're wise enough, you can answer them in such a way where they're just either dumbfounded or they have no accusation to say to you. They can't say nothing. That's the best. When you respond to them and they can't say a word back to you. They can't get you in trouble and they can't even respond to say you're wrong. Right? Read on.
And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which...
Oh, right. So he said, he didn't say tell them not to stone her, right? He didn't say not to stone her. He said, go ahead and do it. Just make sure whoever, he just said,
without sin.
whoever's without sin, just you be the first one to throw it. You see what I'm saying? You be the first one to do it. Go ahead, get it started. Right?
Yeah.
You just be the first one to do it. So what's that showing? Because there's videos of stonings. I see them on WhatsApp.
Yeah, they just,
Right?
Literally, they just stoned another guy, I think, because of he was caught with somebody else's wife. And
right. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, Matato from the House of David, boy, he got them videos. Right? Right? But now the brother, all them people who was stoned, are they keeping commandments? Are they without sin? You understand? That's that, man, listen. Because guess what? When the scriptures say, judge not lest ye be judged, right? That's what it's talking about. It ain't talking about not to let somebody know you're doing something wrong, right? But listen, if you're ready to go kill this person, make sure you're not doing anything worthy of death yourself.
blameless,
You understand what I'm saying? That's all. That's all Christ was teaching, right? Because who would carry out the sentence in the Old Testament? The priests, right? And they would have to be blameless. They would continually have to offer up sacrifices and remain clean and go through these rigorous steps to make sure they're blameless before they can go into the Holy of Holies, right? Before they can carry out these things. But we know these Pharisees are wicked, man. Right? They judge for lucre, man. They judge for money. You know? They show favoritism. And you read about that in James, I believe. You know, they tell the rich man to come sit up front. Right? They tell the rich man, hey, come sit up here. You know, we got this nice seat for you.
VIP.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about telling somebody, yo, man, you shouldn't be a homosexual. Right? You shouldn't be stealing. You shouldn't be selling drugs. Right? You shouldn't be sleeping with another man's woman. In Israel, they call that judgment. What about that is so wrong? What about that is so wrong to say? Huh? I mean, we literally go out there in camp and say rape is wrong. And you would have an army against us. For what reason? Just because we're coming out of the word of the Most High, man. Just because these people hate God. They hate the Most High. Right? Right, read on.
Verse 9. And they which heard it being convicted by their own conscience went out one by one.
Right.
Beginning at the eldest, even unto the last.
Right, so the eldest, right? Probably the wisest. Because he was the first one. Right? He know what, he not fit to do out this punishment. So what judgment's coming to him? You understand? And he drop it, everybody else, one by one. Right, read on.
And Hamashiach Yahushua was left alone. And the woman standing in the midst, when Hamashiach Yahushua had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman.
Right, so he'd get up, stretch, he look around, he don't see nobody, read on.
He said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers?
Right, where are the people who brought this accusation? Where are they? Read on.
Has no man condemned thee?
Right.
She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
Now, let me ask you this question. Could Yahushua have stoned her? Could he? He was blameless, but he was not in that seat of authority. You understand what I'm saying? Well, this is just to show the point of the matter, right? We are to follow in his footsteps. You understand? But key thing, right? Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Right? Give me 1 John 3 and 4. Right? Go and sin no more. Oh, what is sin? Oh, it's missing the mark, brother.
You said 1 John
3 and 4. It's missing the mark. Oh, it's doing something wrong. Alright? Well, what the hell is that? What is wrong? Your idea of wrong might be different than my idea of wrong. Alright? You got it?
Yep.
Read.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Right?
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Right. That's what sin is. Transgression of the law. Right? So he says, do not transgress the law anymore. Right? Sin no more. Do not transgress God's law anymore. That's what Yahushua told them. Alright? Alright, let's go back to the portion. Verse 23.
This is the book of Deuteronomy.
Wow.
Come.
This is my bad. One question. So why would Yahushua nah, you said he doesn't?
He doesn't what?
He doesn't, like, he can't stone him.
He didn't say he couldn't. Right?
Well, he wouldn't.
At that time, he was not in a position to do so, even though he was perfect. He was without sin. Right? He was going to let the law go forward. He wasn't going to stop it. They could have stoned her and he wouldn't have stopped it. Right? Because that's what the law says. Come.
The law says the adulterer
And the adulteress.
So we have the adulteress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So they are caught up in something fishy. They're caught up in a conspiracy. You understand? So clear, but guess what? Many times, wrong judgment. That's why Israel was in the position that they were in. Because wrong judgment was going forth. You understand? The situation with Daniel, right? When the two priests saw the young woman bathing. Susanna, right? The two priests saw the young woman bathing. You understand? And they saw the plan to lay down with her. Right? And when it wouldn't happen, they wanted to bring false accusation against her and say they saw her with a young man. Right? So she'd be put to death. You understand? But Daniel, being a young man, you know, he saw the BS in the matter. He saw that was foolishness. You know, you can read about that book of Susanna.
Yes, Susanna.
Right? You can read about that. That's where they get the whole interrogation process from. From Daniel being wise. Wisdom of Daniel, right? He separated them. Got the story from one of them. Went and got the story from the other one. That's the same thing they do to us in the interrogation room. That's the wisdom that the Most High gave to us. That's what we need to learn from our ancestors, man. Right? We had these things.
We set it up, yeah.
You know what I mean? All right. So yeah, we understand that wrong judgment was going forth. All right. Let's go back.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto her husband, and a man finds her in the city.
Right. So a woman is engaged to a man, a virgin. Right. She hasn't been with a man. She's engaged to a husband. Right. And a man find her in the city. Right. Read on.
And lies with her. Then she shall.
Then ye.
Yeah, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city.
Of that city.
And ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Right. That's how you put away evil from among you, right? So based on this, what should you teach your sons? What do you teach your son? Listen, don't lay around with another man's woman. Right? No matter how good your game is, right? Don't speak to another man's woman, especially in that sort. You understand? It's not like you can't, say hello, greet, hello, good day, da da da. You see what I'm saying? Well, it's a different type of talking. You know what I mean? Another kind of words, a vernacular that comes out of a man's mouth when he wants to get with a woman. Right? Don't let that be you. You understand? And so what should you tell your daughter? If you're engaged to a man, right? Can't no other man sweep you off your feet. Don't even give heed to that. Right? Because you get caught, you're going to get stoned. You understand? And there's something specific in there. It says she cried not. Right? So you teach your daughters to cry out, yell, and fight, and protect her virtue. You understand? Protect it with her life. You understand? Because that's what's important. That should be valued. That's valued. You understand? Because people don't understand how strong that bond between a man and woman would be when that's the only man she knows. Because she don't know no other man. What's wrong with that? That woman, you see a woman, man, listen. They make fun of women, right, that love their husband. Right? Love their husband to the point where they won't make a decision without speaking to their husband. You know what I'm saying? My wife would be, say at the school, right? This happened. Trying to set up a program or whatnot for our child. And they gave her the options or whatnot. She said, all right, I'm going to talk to my husband about that. I mean, she just said it, you know, I'm going to talk to my husband about that. That's what she always do, right? They asked her, oh, are you guys separated? You know what I mean? So in this kingdom, right, it's common that you got to work things out with your husband after you divorce. What the hell kind of sense does that make? Huh? And they make a woman feel bad because she wants to clear things with her husband. Right? When that woman is in order, when she is showing righteousness. And there's women who don't have no husband, or have a husband that they hate, and they hate them because they run all over them. Right? And they tell their husband what to do. And they hate that man all the same. I mean, we know this. Right? We know this. This is nothing new. You understand?
These are single parents. The reason why they pump them up so big is because once you take the man out of the family, now you have that woman who cannot raise the child.
Absolutely.
Guess what? That child is now candidate for special ed. And we all know that special ed is a boom for the schools.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they get money.
Yep.
They get money for every child that's in these special need classes. And you know who they're gonna choose. You know who they're gonna pick. They're gonna pick these black and Hispanic children. Right? They try to put one of the schools she went to, they try to put our daughter in one of these classes. You know? And my wife did the research and found out exactly what was going on. And we went there and had her moved out. You know what I'm saying? Then they're gonna take the chance, right? And put, no, you're not using no experiment on my child. You understand? But these are the things that they try to do. And they will try her because what? 9 times out of 10, the father's not in the home. You understand? There was a situation. Yes?
Sorry. When you mean special ed, does that mean like physical therapy and like occupational and
No, like, I don't know a nice way to say it. Slow.
You have to say
Slow
Yeah.
learning
You know what I'm saying?
disability.
Learning
HDD,
disability.
HDD,
Right.
all
They
those
don't learn as fast. There's not necessarily something wrong with the child,
Yeah.
even though the child may have, a disability or something like that. But
He's in, his school, I work at his school recommended him being physical therapy, so I wasn't sure if that was the same thing as special ed.
No. Well, I mean, we can talk after this.
Yeah.
But physical therapy, that's dealing with something physical,
Okay.
right?
So it's not the same thing.
No.
Mainly often, when it comes to HDD, ADHD, they oftentimes require the children
Right.
to take drugs.
Right. So they'll say your child has HDD, right, or ADD, ADHD, and things like that, so they can offer drugs and things of that nature. Right. Always get a second opinion. Right. Go to a specialist and say, hey, what do you think? Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Right. Verse 25.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25. But if a man finds a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lies with her, then the man only that lay with the damsel, that laid with her.
Salaki, something just popped in my head. The scripture where it says first bind the strong man.
Maybe John 10.
John 10. Let's get that. Let's pull that. Cause you said something key, Captain.
First John or John 10?
Try John 10.
Luke. Give me Luke 11:21. Let's see what that says. No, Mark 3:27.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 27.
Uh-huh.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
Read that again.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
Listen, man, there's benefits in being with a strong man. Tons of benefits. Right? Just ask a woman with a strong man. Just ask her. She'll let you know. She'll let you know all the benefits. Read on.
And spoil his goods.
Uh-huh.
Except he will first bind the strong man.
Uh-huh.
And then he will spoil his house.
Right. So there's only one way a man can enter into a strong man's house, and that's if he's bound up. He has his hands tied, meaning what? He can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Right? So there's a man completely out of the picture. Right? If there's a man completely out of the picture, that's why this society feels like it target Black and Hispanic communities. Why? Because man is out of the picture. You understand? Because they know they're not gonna charge somebody really with a two-parent house, so it ain't gonna go down like that. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because that man, even though he don't know nothing, you understand? Man has an innate, wanting to protect his children. It could be something good for him. Listen, man, I don't believe you, man. What is this thing you talking about? What is this thing you about to put inside my child? Mm-hmm. You understand? What is it? Explain it to me. Make me understand. Right? Whereas a woman, what? Not saying she's not smart enough. Not saying that she is, not intelligent. Right? But what happens? They will what? They will scare the woman. They will use her emotions. They will scare her into putting that thing inside her child. Whether it be an injection or drugs or things like that. And they'll say, oh, we have all this data and all this and all that. You understand? And try to bring fear onto her. You understand? But you with a man that don't scare so easy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, listen. A man will say, listen, this don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? This don't make sense. All right? This is not going down. You understand? Let's go. Let's go back. I wanted to bring that up. Verse 25.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
But if a man finds a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man forces her and lies with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Who shall die?
The man only that lay with her shall die.
Uh-huh. Read on.
But unto the damsel that shall do nothing, there is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Right. So how you have some groups teaching that you can rape women? Huh? That you can force a woman. How are you going to have some groups teaching that? Listen, just because you put on a garment and you know you Israel, that don't mean you're righteous. And that's why it's important for women, right, to learn these scriptures for themselves. You understand? Learn these scriptures, especially when the scriptures pertaining to them. They should know every scripture that has woman in it. You understand? Because it clearly says here that if a man force a woman to lay down with her, right, and she's not with it, he forced her, right, he should be put to death. Because it's the same as he killed a man. You understand? It's just like you killing a man. You went and forced yourself upon this woman. Right? Read on.
For he found her in the field. And the betrothed damsel cried.
She did what?
She cried.
She did what?
She cried.
Right, read on.
And there was none to save her.
Right, you teach your daughters to yell at the top of their lungs. Don't teach them to be afraid, man. Teach them to fight. Teach them to yell, scratch, kick, grab a stone, do whatever it is to get away. Right? Read on.
Verse 28. If a man finds a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lays hold on her.
Does what?
And lays hold on her. And lies with her. And they be found. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Why is that? Read on.
And she shall be his wife. Because he has humbled her, he may not put her away all his days.
Right, so he laid hold on her. Is that the same thing as forcing her?
Wow.
It can't be. Why? Because he's not being put to death in the situation. But what's he doing? He's being forced to marry this woman. You understand? That means when he laid hold on this woman, he said, hey, baby, what's your name? Well, you looking good. Right? What you like? You know what I'm saying? What you like? I could give you the world. I could give you the moon, the stars. I'll take you to Saturn, baby. You know what I'm saying? He laid hold on her, man. He spoke to her. He spit game to her. You know what I mean? Made her feel good. Said nice things to her. Right? And because you did this, she fell for you, you humbled her, right? That's your woman now. Right? That's not something to play with. You know what I'm saying? We know, you know, in the world, you've done it, you know. You play with a woman's emotions, you know what I'm saying? When you humble a woman and then, you know, you get rid of her. You know what that does to a woman. You understand? That's what, you know, and then what? She doesn't trust anybody. Right? But what? She still has physical needs. You understand? That's how whoredom spreads. You know what I mean? We got to take this seriously, man. You don't approach a woman, you know, you don't try lines out on a woman unless you're gonna go all the way. All right? Ain't no play. You understand?
Verse 30. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt.
A man shall not take his father's wife,
nor discover his father's skirt.
Right, so you can't lay with your father's wife. Right? It didn't say your mother, right? Because your father's wife may not be your mother. You understand? Your mother just may be one of his wives. Right? You cannot lay with your father's wife.
Like Reuben did.
Just like Reuben. Alright?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones or has his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right, so right? Why is that? Let's start with that. Why is that?
Not a man.
You're not a full man, huh? Well, anything else?
He can't bring forth children.
You cannot bring forth the nation. Right? You cannot expand the nation. You understand? That's important. Listen, when somebody say the Bible is masculine, it's male dominance, it's true. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? Because a real man, right, who is not insecure, right, who is not emotional, right, who is not a punk, does not prey on the weak. You understand? He does not take advantage of people weaker than him. You know what he does do though? He protects those weaker than him. He speaks up for those that are weaker than he is. You see what I'm saying? Who's the one that goes against the bullies? Huh? Somebody bigger and badder than that bully. You understand what I mean? A bully goes after who? The weak. You understand? A punk. You know, he goes after the weak. Right? A lot of women like posers, man. Right? They like they like men who have this facade of, first of all, women don't know what masculinity is. Right? They think this was tough guy they see on movies. Right? This gangster, this gangbanger, right? But that's an over-emotional punk. You understand what I'm saying? Irrational. He has a woman's mentality. Right? You are looking at a woman pumped with testosterone. You understand what I'm saying? Right? A woman with the strength of a man will do what? Tear down everything, man. You know what I'm saying? As men, we are not to be emotional. Right? Think of it this way, right? The Most High took the rib from Adam, right? And he made woman, right? It's funny, every time I hear somebody say, yeah, we should be in touch with our feminine side. Listen, man, the Lord took that from us. That's what I think about.
He took it out.
The Lord took that from us and gave me my woman. My feminine side is right here next to me. You see what I'm saying? That's my feminine side. You know what I mean? Understand there's a reason why woman was made that way. Why the Most High made her that way. Right? There's nothing wrong with the woman being over emotional. Right? Because she's emotional for her and you. You see what I'm saying? She's over emotional for herself and for you. And for her children. She has to be. You see what I'm saying? But it's on you to do what?
Balance.
Right? Huh?
Balance it out.
Balance it out. You gotta be her
What they say, her rock.
her strength. Absolutely. You can't be up and down. You gotta be solid. You gotta deal with her according to wisdom. You see what I'm saying? And use that to your benefit. Because it might be something you miss. Maybe you so unemotional, maybe there's a situation where you know what, you should react a certain way. You know what I mean? Normally I'm cool about certain things. Right? But there may be a situation where I'm not, I really shouldn't be cool about. You see what I'm saying? Maybe I'm missing something here. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to discern, what your woman is telling you. All the time, it's not her being wicked. You know what I'm saying? All the time, it's just not her being overbearing and nagging and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? You got to put it to use. You got to use it. She's part of you. You see what I'm saying? Let's read on.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
Right. So what's a bastard? Fatherless child?
No.
That's what this society calls a bastard.
It's
What is wedlock? See, these are terms that we learn under this oppression, wedlock. Child out of wedlock. There's no such thing.
You have a child that's when you're not married or nothing.
I would say.
How can you have a child that's not, and you're not married?
I would say a child of another nation.
Here it is, right? Bastard. H4464. Read that. What does that say?
A mamzer.
Mamzer, right? What's the definition for mamzer?
Definition of bastard. Child of incest.
Child of what?
Child of incest.
Child of incest, read on.
Illegitimate child.
Right, that's an illegitimate child. A child born of incest. What's incest? Right? What's the child of incest? Huh? For a brother and a sister have a child? Right? Mother and the son have a child. Daughter and the father have a child, right? What the next verse say? Read verse 3.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 3. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever.
Now, is this coincidence? No. He's simply giving you an example. Listen, Moab and Ammon, they never come in over here. Never. Ever, 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 ever. Alright? But Christ died for everybody. Alright? They never, ever allowed in the congregation. Right? Read on.
Verse 4. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam and the son of Beor and Pithor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy power would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy power turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Most High thy power loved thee.
Right. So we remember the story of Balaam, right? They went and got this sorcerer, right? Tried to put curses on the children of Israel while they were in the wilderness. And what happened? Every time you put a curse on them, what?
Most High turned around and blessed them.
Most High blessed them. You understand? Even with us in all our wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Most High was about to kill us in that wilderness. But he still wouldn't let these curses come upon us. Why? Prove a point, man. He's always proving his sovereignty. You understand? If anybody's going to touch the children of the Most High, it's going to be him. You understand? It's going to be him. Read on.
Verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land.
Right. So this is a scripture that people like to pull up. Right? Oh, but you can't abhor an Edomite. Right? What does abhor mean? Huh? Because we know, we read the Bible. So we know it could not be saying what everybody thinks it's saying. Right? Because right after this, right, what happened? We get into the land and King Saul is anointed king. What was the first order from the Most High to King Saul? Anybody know?
Kill.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Kill the other nations that was occupying the land?
No, they were in the land already.
We had to get rid of Amalek.
Amalek. All right? And this is, I would say, what, a couple hundred years after? Right?
Yeah. So once Saul got into power, he instructed him to take care of these devils.
Yeah. So Saul is in the land, right? He has the throne. You understand? His first order is to, listen, man, remember what Amalek did when the children of Israel was in the wilderness? Right? Go kill every last one. So it could not mean, oh, you shouldn't hate them. You understand? But read that. Abhor. What's that? Read the phonetic.
Ta'ab.
Ta'ab.
Definition. To abhor. Be abominable.
Be abominable.
Do abominably.
Do abominably. Right? That's an action. You understand? You cannot do profane things to him. You understand? He does profane things to everybody. Does he not? Huh? He's the one that thinks, buck breaking, sodomizing a man in front of his family to break that whole unit. You understand what I'm saying? That is to do abominably. You know, that's what the Most High is talking about. Abhor. Right? Read on.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Most High in their third generation.
Right. So as what? They enter in the congregation. Does that mean they get salvation? No, man. You're allowed to come
Worship.
come work. What?
No.
How do they do that? Clean these dishes.
None.
You know what I'm saying? Break these big rocks into smaller rocks. You understand what I'm saying? I need an addition to my porch. You know what I mean? Right. That's what that means. Now they can come amongst you and work for you. You understand? Because even when you have a servant, what? They got to be circumcised, right? And other nations around you in your vicinity, they got to be doing what? Keeping the commandments, right? They got to follow the laws. Just like if you were to go to France, you have to follow the laws of France, right? So if they have a law that say no spitting on the sidewalk, you can't spit on the sidewalk, right? If for some reason they stop at yellow lights and they go at red lights, you go there, you stop at yellow lights, and you go at red lights. You understand? That's just an example. If, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's not that way. Right? Just using that to show a point. Absolutely. These commandments are our laws, and if we have a land, that's what we're applying. Right? You can't be living amongst us eating pork and selling pork in our stores. You understand? All right, read on.
Verse 9. When the host goeth forth against thine enemy, then keep thee from every wicked thing.
Why is that important? All right, read on. Read verse 10.
If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanliness, that chanceth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp.
Right. So why is cleanliness so important when you're going to war?
Because the Most High is there with us.
Absolutely. Who's fighting for you?
Yahweh.
Right? The Most High is fighting for you, right? Absolutely. So what? You need to be clean. Don't have nothing, right? Because what? When Joshua went to war, and he saw that he was losing, he knew for a fact there was some uncleanliness among him. Right? So that's when they digged up the Babylonian garments, right? Under the tent, and burnt the whole family. You understand? Because you don't go to war to lose, do you? You don't go to war to lose. You go to war to win. You understand? Khan.
Wasn't it Judah that had this Babylonian thing?
Khan. Absolutely.
Allegedly.
that was Judah. Right? That was Judah always pushing the envelope, right? Right. And so if uncleanliness come upon a man by night, right? The man he's at war, you understand what I'm saying? Certain things he's not doing, and things may come upon him at night. Right? He must do what? Leave the camp. It's not a sin to be unclean, right? It's just once you're unclean, now you have a protocol. You understand what I'm saying? So now you leave the camp.
If that person's unclean, do he make everybody else around him unclean? If he was to attend the camp?
If he was to be in the camp, right? He's unclean.
Would it make everybody else unclean? Or did he just leave?
There's a verse on that.
There is. If you got it, pull it. Because I know when a woman's unclean, right? During that specific time, everything she touching, she sit up on, yada, 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 is unclean. I don't know a scripture of that dealing with the man. But the simple fact that he himself is unclean, right? There should be no uncleanliness in the camp. So him making things unclean or not, he shouldn't be there, right? If you find it, you can shout it out. We're going to move on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 11. But it shall be when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water. And when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
Right. So he leave the camp. Right. Sun goes down. Take a bath. Come back. Simple. Right. Cleanliness. You understand? Read on.
Verse 12. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad.
Right.
And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon.
So yeah, so when we go to war, we gotta have a place for this so this can take place. Alright? We need to have an area designated for a man to go when he is unclean, wash up, come back. Because you're in the army, you understand? It's a lot of men. It may be quite a few men. You understand what I'm saying? Alright, read on. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon. And it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself abroad, thou shalt dig therewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee.
So right, so what's that? Anybody know what that is?
That's what we would say number 2 when they go out to the battlefield. And use the restroom.
Right. So you gotta have a paddle with you. With all your weapons that you have, carry a shovel with you. Right? So you gotta go use the bathroom, dig a hole, do your business, cover it up. Alright? What's a practical use for that? What's something practical? Something tangible. I mean, you're at war.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't worried about crops. Alright?
So nobody can track you.
So nobody can track you, right? You move from this place to another, make sure you leave it so people don't really know that y'all was here. You see what I'm saying? Because how do animals track other animals?
By the scent.
Right? By their droppings. How do humans track animals? By droppings. If you're tracking a man, you're gonna look for all kind of things. You see what I'm saying? Cats by nature. Animals by nature cover up their scent. It's hunters like cats and lions. You watch a little kitten. Right? I was telling Shamshawan, if you want to see a lion, right? Watch a house cat. Watch a house cat. Right? You have a house cat, it does the same thing a lion does. Absolute same thing. A lion like to hang out in trees. They like to be up high. Right? They'll be up in the tree, chilling. Right? Where is your cat when you see him? On the dresser. On top of the window. On top of the roof, if it goes outside. You see what I'm saying? Yes, on the refrigerator, on the cupboard. You know what I mean? Your cats outside, in the shade. What they do all day? Sleep. When do they want to play? At night.
Nocturnal.
You understand what I'm saying? Watch them when they play with their little toy. They creep. You know what I'm saying? Exact same thing. And the same thing, they cover up their droppings. Why? Because instinctively they don't want to be tracked. You understand? All right, read on.
Verse 14. For thy power, thy God,
Yahweh thy power,
Yahweh thy power, walketh in the midst of thy camp, to deliver thee, and to give up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he sees no unclean thing in thee.
Right. Away from, go ahead.
And turn away from thee.
Right, because the Most High is a man of war, is he not? Yeah, so, he going to get a peace. You know what I'm saying? He's going to go fight for us. He loved this stuff. You know what I mean? Because if he did, it wouldn't be so much war in the world. You know what I mean? When you understand that, a lot of things become clear and simple to you when you read the scriptures. All right, verse 15.
Verse 15. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him.
Thou shalt not do what?
Thou shalt not oppress him.
So now, is this talking about a heathen? Or is this talking about fellow Israelites? Which one is it? A fellow Israelite. You understand? Because who aren't you supposed to oppress? Your brother. Right? And we're going to pull the precept for this in a second. All right? Read on.
Verse 17.
Uh-huh.
There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor sodomites of the sons of Israel. Thou shalt not bring...
Salaki. There shall be no whore in Israel, nor sodomite. Right? Why is that, man? We touched on it earlier. It's about a reputation. There shouldn't be one, man. Right? Read this. I have an article here from the Washington Post, right? Read that. What that headline say?
A study found adults see black girls as less innocent, shocking everyone but black moms.
Right. So we already know. We already know this, right? But Esau go ahead and do a study, right? That they see black girls less innocent than their white counterparts. I wonder why is that? Huh? Due to propaganda, and a lot of it all women do to themselves, right? And if you're out in public, and God forbid a woman see a camera, what's she gonna do? She gonna start twerking, sticking her tongue out, hey, doing all that nonsense. Why is that?
They teach them young kids to dance.
Why is that? They see that, and they automatically think this little young child, you understand, is less innocent. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna read some of this article. We're gonna read some of this article. Go ahead, start that.
A Georgetown University study showing that black girls in the United States are perceived by adults as much less innocent than white girls as created a lot of buzz this summer. This study released last month, Girlhood Interrupted the Erasure of a Black Girl's Childhood. I identifies several well-researched reasons for the disparity. Black girls, according to the studies, are adultified, sexualized, and deemed overly aggressive from a young age.
Right. So this young black girl is perceived that way, right? They're overly adult. Why do young black teens always get charged as an adult on a higher rate than their white counterparts? Because they're perceived this way, right? Read on.
This news was a shock to everyone but black mothers who live with this truth every day. Any black mother could have told the researchers that for the time they are talking and walking, little black girls are deemed fast. A word.
Deemed what?
Fast.
I know Judah know that word.
That's a word, yeah.
Right? Benjamin know that too. You understand? Fast. What that mean? Hot, right?
Yeah.
She promiscuous, right? You talking about a little child. A little child who don't know nothing about that. But they see her as fast, right? Read on.
A word synonymous with promiscuity. Their attitudes are frequent topics of conversation.
A black woman's attitude, read on.
While their sassiness...
Their what?
Their sassiness...
Listen, man, this is all through TV, man. Talk about a black woman, oh, she's sassy. You see what I'm saying? These are the things that a lot of black women, they champion. They sassiness and they twisting their neck and snapping fingers and stuff like that. That's all through television, you know, movies and stuff like that, right? But this stuff is negatively affecting our daughters, right? Read on.
Is taken as a rebellious streak, and this is all before they research elementary school.
Rebellious streak, especially to who? Their husband, right? Read on.
I could have introduced the researcher to my oldest daughter, Chloe. Through her, I learned that if I wanted my daughter to be seen as a little girl, I would have to.
seen as the little girls they are.
Seen as little girls they are, I would have to advocate for them.
Right. So if she wanted her children to be seen as little children, just like they are, those children needed an advocate. Right? They needed an advocate. So you say, hey, listen, no, this is a child. This is a little child. Like, it's not obvious. Right? Read on.
Chloe initiated me into the Black Mom of Black Daughters Club. It started when Chloe was a toddler. And people commented on her curves.
Right. How you going to comment on a toddler's curves?
Seeing it before seeing it done.
Absolutely.
They do it.
And a lot of times we do it to ourselves, don't we? Huh? Black women talking about her daughter and how she looked, how sexy, or want to promote the sexiness, and
She got a big butt. She's 3 years old.
Yeah. Flaunt it if you got it. Right? Read on.
I combated that by putting her in one-piece jumpers and shorts at the beach.
Right. So this mother is trying to combat that. Right? And that's what we have to do. We have to combat these things. We have to be aware that these stigmas, right? These ideas of our children are there. So we cannot have them dressing like them. Right? Because they don't have the same perception. Right? So we have to go that extra mile. Right? Read on.
Meanwhile, my white niece played blissfully in a two-piece with ribbons and lace. I never heard anyone talk about her body.
You hear that? Ain't nobody talking about a little white girl in the two-piece. Right? Read on.
Chloe's bathing outfit had a picture of her favorite dinosaur on it. So she would never care about the difference. So she never cared about the difference. But I did.
Right. So the child was happy because what? It was her dinosaurs on it. Read on.
The studies call this phenomenon
adultification.
Adultification.
Write that down. Bring that out when you go to camp. Right? Adultification. You want to, anytime you want to talk about white privilege, here's one. Here's one of the things that we have to go through. Right? Adultification of our children. Are they seen as adults? Right? Read on.
Adultification, or a social or cultural stereotype that is based on how adults perceive children in absence of knowledge of the children's behavior and verbalization.
Right. So it's how you see the child. You don't even know how the child behaves. You have not heard this child speak. Just based on you seeing. Right? Read on.
In other words, my kid never had to say or do anything for the people to think it's okay to consider a toddler curvy. She just had to exist and play in her black skin.
Right. So just because she's born, man, she's already sexualized, man. She's already, so what does that mean, man? Right? She is more at risk to get snatched up and be kidnapped and be raped and have all kind of cruelty done to her. Right? So what? You need a strong man to what? Protect this girl. All right? And women have to do their part too. They'll have to reinforce what we're saying. Right? Read on.
The stereotype and assumptions got worse for Chloe in middle school. So much so that I didn't let her sleep over at her best friend's house for a year.
Right.
She thought it was because her grades were in need of improvement. But it was because of the girl's dad had made a comment to his daughter about how fast Chloe was after overhearing the girls talk about cute boys at school.
You hear that? So girls, the older girls talking about cute boys, right? But she's singling out that daughter, saying that she's fast. She's the hope. Right? Read on.
My black kid was cast as the problem, even though both girls had contributed opinions and names. I did not want him around my child with that attitude. And and I only let her go, and I only let the girls start hanging out again when they were in high school. After the dad changed his tune, after a string of teen pregnancy hit the high school, he deemed Chloe the most chastised, most chaste of the daughter's friend. But even then, the sleepovers were at the girl's mother's home.
Right, so the school had a whole string of teen pregnancies, except for that black girl. She was the most chaste out of all of them. You see what I'm saying? But she's still seen as the hoe. Right? Read on.
According to the study, black girls are never given the chance to be innocent. Ultimately, adultification is a form of dehumanizing.
What?
Dehumanizing.
Say that again?
Dehumanizing. Robbing black children of the very essence of what makes childhood distinct from other developmental periods. Innocence. The study's authors write.
Right. So it robs them of the child to even be innocent. You understand what I'm saying? Of that child's virtue. That's a bad name upon the house, man. That's a bad reputation on the nation. Right? Read on. Dehumanizing. Right? Read on.
That's been my experience, despite my attempt to protect my baby from a culture that saw her as less than her white friend. The mother of the black friends practiced the same caution. We were strict, never letting our daughters even have a play date unless we knew that the parents well.
Right, and I suggest you do that as well. Jay didn't go to no sleepovers. You understand what I'm saying? None. You know what I mean? Unless we know, somebody in our congregation, you understand? And we tight. I mean, we tight. You know what I mean? You don't just let your kids go stay, wherever the hell, just because there's a bunch of kids there. All right? And we about to get to a perfect example of why. You understand? Read on.
Well-vetted parents with questions to determine if they saw our daughters as kids or as bad black influence.
Right. So they had to interview the parents. Do you see our children as kids or as bad black influence? Right. Read on.
Could they be trusted to be objected when the girls get into trouble? We understood the stakes.
Right. So can those parents be trusted to be objective? Right? And not just be, oh, they black, they must be guilty. Right? When something happens. Read on.
Chloe's freshman year of high school brought new friends and more sleepovers. I allowed her to go around kids whose parents I vetted, but one got past me. I knew that the sleepover had gone bad when I got a phone call from a hysterical woman yelling at me to come get my kid.
Right.
Less than 3 hours into the party. I raced to my house. I raced to the house. My child was the only one sitting in the living room with the parent, while the other girls peeked out from down the hall. The mom said Chloe brought pot to her house, and the girls smoked it.
So the girls said, they're saying Chloe brought weed to the house, and all the girls smoked it. All right? Read on.
My 14-year-old had just mastered the art of rolling the top of her uniform skirt to make it shorter.
Why would she need to make her skirt shorter? All these things play in the role, man. Why does she need to make the skirt shorter? Why don't women feel like they need to make their skirt longer? Huh? So, I mean, we get a bad rap. We get a bad rap and say men objectify women and we are dehumanizing women. You understand? But they got to understand what they're doing to themselves and what they are teaching their daughters. You understand? What the hell is she shortening her skirt for? Read on.
All of her friends were similarly awkward teens. I couldn't figure out how she had gotten pot, much less smuggled it into my house, which with 4 teens, my husband, me, and a dog didn't allow for privacy.
Right. So it's a full house. 4 teens, mom, dad, and a dog. She don't even know where she could have got the weed from, how she got it in the house. All right? Read.
Something didn't add up. I sent Chloe to the car before I started my question. Did you see Chloe smoking? No. Who had the pot when you discovered it? Does it matter? Yes.
Right? Does it matter? Doesn't matter. She's obviously guilty. She's black. Right? She's a hoe. She's promiscuous. Right? Doesn't matter. Read.
Yes, turns out the girl hosting the sleepover was holding the weed when the mom's boyfriend caught them.
So, right? So she was holding, the girl who was hosting the party, she was holding the weed when the mom's boyfriend caught her. Read.
No one saw Chloe smoke, but all of the girls said Chloe brought the drugs.
Ah. You hear that now? Now this is another thing we have to protect our child from. You understand? You got to teach them, yo, don't let nobody get you into trouble. Be careful who you hang around with. All right? Everybody's not your friend. Read on, let's see what happened.
Chloe was the only girl there who wasn't white.
Ah, you hear that? She's the only black girl there at the party. Read on.
All of the girls had bloodshot eyes, telltales, pupils, and goofy grins. I told them I would get to the bottom of this.
All right. Let's drop that. So we get this, right? We get it. Why did I bring this up? All right? Most High said there should be no whoredom in Israel, nor a sodomite. You see what I'm saying? This is something that should not exist. You understand? At all. All right? So if you're talking about a promiscuous woman, you're not thinking about no black or Hispanic woman. No way. Could it be? You see what I'm saying? If you're thinking about pimp, right? Pimp arrested, yada, yada, yada. It could not be a black or Hispanic woman. A black or Hispanic man. You see what I'm saying? That's what the Most High is talking about. That's the importance of a good name, man. Because then these things are impossible. It should be like, no way. I don't believe that. It couldn't be her. Not this Israelite girl. Not her. You understand? It should be that way with you on your job. Everybody in your job know you're Israelite. You know you stand for something. And there is no way, if something ever happened, they know there's no way that what they're saying could bring an accusation. Because with me, they say I'm quiet. Right? They sometimes when I talk, they're like, oh, he speaks. Right? And I am that way, especially when I'm on the job and I'm talking to the GC or whoever the customer is, right? I'm very straightforward to what they want to accomplish. Because if they ever try to call and complain and say, hey, you know, listen, your guy is rude and arrogant and, you know, disrespectful, they're gonna like, you're crazy.
Talking about the same guy?
You're crazy. You understand? And they've seen my videos. They've seen me on the street corner preaching. You understand what I'm saying? And they would look at them and say, nah, you're out of your mind. Right? Because they know how I get down at me. So there should be things where certain things, right? If somebody came to me and said, you know, yo, I saw such and such at the strip club. I'd be like, man, get out of here, man. You understand? Wouldn't believe that one bit. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Come.
Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5.
Deuteronomy 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 verse 5 through 6.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
Statutes and judgment, not religion. Statutes and judgments. Read on.
Even as the Most High thy power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Right.
Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom.
This is your what?
This is your wisdom and your understanding. In the sight
in
of
the what?
In the sight.
In the what?
In the sight.
Sight of who?
Of the nations.
In the sight of the nations, man.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Absolutely. All right? That's what keeping the commandments will do for us. Surely this people are wise and understanding. You understand what I'm saying? Look at the brotherhood amongst them. All right? They don't defraud each other. All right? They take care of their women. You understand? They don't play games. You know what I mean? Everything is on the up and up. Look at them. Look how well they're thriving. All right? That's what the other nations should be saying. All right? All right, let's go back.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 18. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of thy power. Into the house of Yahweh thy power. For any vow, for even both these are abominations unto the Most High thy power.
Right. So, can a stripper bring a tenth of her earnings into the sanctuary? No. Can a prostitute bring her money into the sanctuary? No. Right? Not even if it was a vow that she promised. All right. Most I said don't do it. All right. Read on.
Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usuries of anything that is lent upon usury.
Right. So what is usury?
You lend somebody money, and like let's say I give you $20 and I ask for 40 back.
Say that again?
If I give you money, like let's say you borrowed $20 from me, and I give you 40 back.
Right. Interest. Right? You can't charge your brother interest. Right? If I lend you 20, I expect 20 back. Right? Read on. Verse 20.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. But unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury.
Right, so somebody of another nation, yeah, you can lend upon usury. Right? As much as you want. You understand? You need $20? All right, I want 60 back. 60. They didn't tell you, oh no, that's too much. Come on, right? If I put the $20 right here, say it's right here, man. I just want $60 back. Take it or leave it, right? Because look, if you look at the interest rates they charge on black and Hispanics, it's the same damn thing. You understand? You need a house to live in, don't you? They're gonna charge you more interest on that. You're gonna end up paying what? 100,000 more than your white counterpart? You buy a car, you're gonna end up paying 10,000 more than your white counterpart? You understand? You take out a loan, you're gonna pay more. Why? Because they targeting you. You understand? So you gonna say?
Pretty much, I see Quicken Loans. Pretty much on an upward trend.
Yeah. Yeah, all these Quicken Loans, payday advance, and all these things, man. Yeah. And where are these places? In the hood, man. In the hood. All right? They know who they're targeting. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury. The Most High thy power may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Most High thy power, thou shalt not slack to pay it.
Uh-huh.
For the Most High thy power will surely require it of thee, and it would be sin in thee.
Right. So if you vow a vow, right, you got to keep your vows, because then that'll be sin on you. Right? It's better not to vow. Hamashiach said it's better not to vow at all. Don't vow. You understand? There's a situation with Jephthah and his vow, right? And what did he have to do? You know, he had to kill his own daughter because of the vow, right? As soon as she walked in the door, man, mourning, and she knew it too. She knew it, you know, right? So, you know, if you vow a vow, the Most High will require it of you. You got to keep it. So it's best not to vow. All right? Read on.
Verse 22. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, it shall be no sin in thee.
Right.
That which is gone out of thy lips, thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Most High thy power.
Right.
Which thou hast promised with thine mouth.
Right. So don't vow. Ain't no sin. But if you vow, you keep your vow, man. If you vow to do free will, man, you better keep that vow. All right? Read on.
When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes thy fill and thine own, at thy own pleasure. But thou shalt not put any in thy vessel.
Right. So, you know, you at your friend's vineyard or your neighbor's vineyard, you can eat some grapes, right? But don't pack up to take with you. You understand? It's like today, you know, you go to a friend's house and he got food out. You understand? Eat. Enjoy yourself, right? Because then he'll feel offended, you know, you don't eat. He put all his food out, you don't eat it, right? But then it's rude, you know, this one cat that's always, he bring his own to-go plate, man. He brought his own foil, he brought his own everything, man. He just packing no food and he going. We all know people like that. You understand what I'm saying? You know that's just rude, right? You know, at the end of the party, man, he'll say, you know, at the end, you know, all right, let's get rid of this thing, man. But don't take it upon yourself to now, you know, just be courteous, all right? Especially this vineyard, this is how he make his money. You know what I'm saying? This is how he own the vineyard. This is how he makes his money. All right? So we got to be mindful of that. All right, read on.
When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ear with thine hand. But thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn.
Right, so what's a sickle?
It's a blade.
The blade, that's what they harvest the wheat with. When you see the images of death, that's what he's holding, the sickle, right? So you're not going to go harvest the man crop, all right? Cut everything down. No, you want some corn, man, you can pluck the corn with your hand and eat, all right?
Look, pretty much, it seems like pretty much these laws, they are in our spirit. Because when I was a younger kid, went to the countryside, pretty much it was customary for us to go to the sugarcane field.
Right.
Eat. But pretty much, and the guys, they wouldn't say anything. Pretty much these laws, oftentimes, they are in our spirit, but now, with the Most High and through Mashiach, allowing us, we are saying that they are in the Bible.
Right. Yeah, one time, the family went to Jamaica, right? Then I had a cousin that took us down into the caves. All right, go see the cave. But before you get there, you got to go to this field of oranges, man. You know, this guy, he allowed, the first week he spoke to me, allowed us to pass through and to go into the caves and whatnot. But you know, as we go into the caves, man, we eat oranges. You know what I mean? Peeling oranges, eating oranges. You know, we see a mango, we eat the mango. No problem. You know what I mean? It's not a problem. On the way in, on the way out. You know what I mean? But you know, we didn't take anything with us. Right? No, we didn't do none of that. You know what I mean? It was not a problem. All right? Chapter 24.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 1. When a man has taken a wife and married her.
It is 3.
What's that?
It is 3.
It's 3 o'clock?
Yeah, 15.
All right. That's what I mean.
What do you think?
Take a break?
How much you got left?
We have a
2 chapters. All right, come on, we can take a break.
Yeah.
We can take a break. Okay. All right, so we take a break. Pause it.